hopefully you watch the video, understand what tonight's about, but if you don't, like I said, sometimes like streams can be about us or, an objective trying to win money, but really tonight is one of my favorite things to do in the world. We obviously both work really hard.
The conclusion that Drake's 2024 is receiving has never revealed more about the state of his career. To commemorate the holiday season, Kendrick Lamar and his label threw a concert and toy drive where all of his members, including SZA and the rest of TDE, performed songs for one of the most sincere causes imaginable. Because of what they were showcasing, it truly represented the unifying power of hip-hop as a whole. Around the same time that Kendrick demonstrated the power of hip-hop, Drake revealed that he was collaborating with Adin Ross, one of the world's most divisive streamers, whose character and essence contradict the very idea that rap music was intended to represent in the first place. Drake's actions were made worse by the fact that their entire goal was to promote a business that wants you to spend your hard-earned money and receive very little in return. Drake's actions and behaviors, which pushed immaturity to a whole new level for his age, overshadowed his attempts to gain the finest headlines he has had surrounding his brand in nearly a year by giving back to people throughout the stream. Drake seemed more insane than we have seen in a long time, with Adin Ross pressuring him to say anything and the conversation adding to the mayhem. All of this led to Drake's exit this year, which will go down as a turning point in his career in the worst possible way, not by inspiring hope for the future or fostering nostalgia for a time when he was genuinely liked, but by bringing to light the reasons behind one of the greatest collapses in history. Make sure to like and subscribe before we go into further detail about what a complete mess Drake just made with his most recent stream. It appears that Drake's holiday event was, quite rightly, one of the biggest presents the rap world has received in terms of seeing how much this guy has lost it in 2024. Especially now that the entire Drism incident has been added to a long list of incidents this year that have done nothing to improve his image and have only made him look worse at every opportunity. Drake addressed the public in a manner and via a medium that is so directly in tune with the people, aside from the diss tracks and everything that is happening with his label and what he is accusing them of doing. This was especially true of his most recent webcast, which attracted an even larger viewership. In all of Drake's demise, this has been one of the more illuminating moments. We got to see Drake for who he truly is here, regardless of what his crew has created on songs or in long-written essays. For Drake, almost every moment on this broadcast managed to demonstrate, especially for those who are still in denial, how much of what Kendrick Lamar stated about him is accurate. Even though being in these kinds of settings helps humanize and make some figures more likable, Drake is reaching previously unheard of heights. The whole point of this event was for Drake and Adin to give back to people over the holidays, even if it was obviously intended to generate powerful, good headlines. However, this incident only made him look worse because Drake and Adin promoted the brand Stake, which planned the entire event, and because Drake and Stake's relationship has been troublesome overall, something that deserves its own video. In addition, Drake made a reference to all the artists he faces, always reminding people of his demise in every manner imaginable. By standing with someone like Adin Ross, he was able to distance himself from hip-hop culture more than he had ever done. He continued to crash out while attempting to regain the public's trust, demonstrating that he is still upset over what Kendrick Lamar has done to him even after months of attempting to undermine his achievements. Drake made it a point to bring up the significance of this year in hip-hop on several occasions throughout the broadcast, and to include Kendrick in some way. One of the funniest lines in their entire feud was when Drake echoed Kendrick's euphoria phrase about Drake and Sexy Red, referring to how Drake perceives himself next to her. Drake's attempts to capitalize on viral events, such as when he attempted to rap over the BBL Drizzy track, or use the word custard in a live stream conversation, only serve to highlight the fact that we are laughing at Drake rather than with him. From this point on, Drake's activities on this webcast were even more bizarre and revealed more about his current state, especially when he read a fan-submitted message. Drake was reading it aloud, word by line, and nearly lost his mind when he realized he was about to launch a new chapter in his rap feud with Kendrick by practically yelling F Kendrick Lamar over his livestream. Once more, Drake's response to nearly saying it seemed sincere, and it is evident on many levels that Kendrick Lamar's influence on this man's career has completely altered his character. Drake was repeatedly teasing Kendrick to drop just a few months ago, behaving as though he wasn't a viable rival. As he's going to utter Kendrick's name, he's practically leaping up like a cartoon character. This demonstrates firsthand that Kendrick Lamar is the boogeyman of hip-hop like no one has ever seen before, and that Drake even knows he lost this feud. Drake managed to make this stream even more bizarre than just reciting lines from Euphoria, or demonstrating how terrified he is of Kendrick, which was apparently further demonstrated by the fact that Drake and his team made sure that phrases like Kendrick Lamar, not like us, and anything disparaging about Drake were muted in the chat. During his conversation with Aiden Ross, he further demonstrated how resentful and upset he is over this feud. Aiden continued by saying that he believes that rap is in a terrible state, that no artists are releasing music at the moment, and that the music that is available is garbage. First of all, Aiden Ross's hip-hop views should not be taken seriously at all with regard to his musical preferences and his overall persona. But in his reaction, Drake initially stated, "Let's not go there." He went on to say that rap would always be around, which is probably a good thing because it means he's not denying it. Drake, however, made reference to this year in hip-hop when he continued by stating, "It was a weird NBA season." Drake's inability to articulate the kind of hip-hop year this has been, and his need to utilize yet another analogy to express his feelings, just serves to highlight how much this year and everything that transpired has affected him and altered his entire attitude and mannerisms. Drake's inability to articulate even a single statement on what this year has meant demonstrates his unwillingness to face reality as it is, even if he is aware of it. As he sits here, Drake reflects on a year in which he was a part of what is currently the most well-reported and significant cultural rap feud of not only this century, but actually of all time. All he has to say about the entire year in which he was at the center is that it was a weird NBA season after everything that transpired. Overall, this demonstrates how this man has given up trying to change the stories that were written about his personal shortcomings this year. Drake appears really depressed about everything, even though he makes references to his future goals. Drake is clearly beginning to distance himself from hip-hop as we know it, based on the direction his entire brand is currently taking, from this stream and the one before it to the brands he works with and doesn't. It appears that Drake will be giving up that aspect of what it means to be a rapper, even if he insists that more music is on the way and that he would definitely rhyme again. Drake is a respected MC who actively contributes to hip-hop culture and works to advance the genre. There will be some startling repercussions for his future career as a result. After their feud ended, Drake is now abandoning the people who chose Kendrick to win. Drake might find it advantageous to reach streamers and their viewers who would appreciate his childish actions, and any song he creates is a continuation of them. But given his apparent direction, it appears that Drake will be expanding his presence in the streaming market at a time when the industry is expanding, and his prospects as a rapper appear to be bleak. At the most basic level, Drake's departure from the place that shaped him and sustained his legacy for years will alter his reputation in hip-hop for all time, for better or worse. It creates a frightening precedent to separate your art from the society it is based on. Even for someone as well known as Drake, who knows if these streamers will still think the same of him when his music isn't the cool thing and he becomes more of a rival. If Drake is left with himself and individuals like Smiley and is unable to get the best young talent in the business from labels, who knows if he will even be able to connect with this audience that enjoys his childish antics. I don't even need to mention how awful it is if Smiley is one of your go-to guys. Overall, regardless of Drake's future, the end of 2024 is a time when, following more than 10 years of concealment and months of exposing his true self, he has demonstrated to the world his immaturity and his complete disregard for everything other than what he stands to gain in the moment. Keep in mind the forces that initially organized this event. At the same time as Drake's exit this year, which has been so monumental in the hip-hop industry, occurs, Kendrick Lamar takes the stage alongside Ab-Soul and other ordinary folks from his hometown to use the power of hip-hop to unite people. Drake, on the other hand, is associating himself with individuals and groups that not only disregard the core principles of hip-hop, but also embody many of the negative aspects of entertainment and its direction. All things considered, it is now quite evident that Drake has decided where he wants to go next. He will have to deal with the repercussions of this choice no matter what. After all of this, please share your thoughts about Drake's recent actions and this stream from here. Where do you think this will all go? I am eager to listen to your thoughts.